You're listening to the Wicked Theory Podcast.
We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Broadcasting to you live from the bridge of the USSS Bad Motherfucker. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. It's another week. It's another episode. This one's numbered 135.
Oh, yeah.
Of the Wicked Theory Podcast. I'm Bill Schwangadangle, and I bring some friends. This week I got my brother Bob over there on guitar.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And then we got Ed.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's all right. And then we got Jay. And that's how we do it this week. Mm-hmm. All right. Hi.
Yeah, insert bird chirp here.
Yeah, there's
How you doing, gentlemen?
there's stuff going on. There's like, ooh.
Oof. We had last minute technical thing. I still hear some buzzing.
There's like shit happening, man.
How you doing, Bill?
I'm all right.
It's been a week.
It's been a week. I'm just trying to figure out this buzzing that I hear.
Buzz, buzz, buzz goes the fucking bumblebee, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's phones or if it's
Wesley.
wires. It is Wesley.
Wesley.
Wesley's in the house in the chat room. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Name dropping in the beginning of the show.
You like that?
Name drop.
He's like a.
Well, it's like attendance. And that's everybody.
He's close to a celebrity, I guess. And yeah. So here we are, 135.
135.
Is this a momentous occasion?
One tree. Fiver.
We're gonna get to some news. We got some email. I think. I don't know. I didn't check. We do
I don't
have.
know, did Wesley write one?
He might have.
You might have.
He might
be writing it now.
He might right now. And if you want to, you can too.
Hint.
Send us your emails.
That's it. Send them to
Chime in.
Send it to podcast@wickedtheory.com.
Yeah, that is the amazing thing about email. You can type it up right now, and we can be doing it on the air in 5 minutes.
That's it.
So.
That's it. That's what I got to do.
I mean, if you're listening live.
Hear your
Bada
name.
bing, bada bang, bada boom.
Hear your name on the air, man.
I mean, you know.
How cool is that?
And you can do that like instantly, basically. It's like instant messaging. I mean, you can do that in the chat room too, if you're listening live, which you can do Saturday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at mixler.com/wicked-theory.
Or get the Mixler app. That's MIXLR.
That's free. That stuff is free. Just search Wicked Theory on it.
Shh, don't tell nobody.
You know, you could download and subscribe to us.
Yeah.
Well, you basically hit the follow. There's a follow button on
Yeah.
there. You know, you get little alerts right before we go live.
I think we're Wicked-Theory, right? On
You can
on
just
Mixler?
yeah, I mean, if you're typing it into your browser to find us, then it's definitely got to use the dash. But I think if you're just using their search feature, you could just type Wicked Theory, will come up.
Yep.
Right.
But yeah,
Oh, I
man.
know that address by heart, man.
Yeah,
You made
you-
me memorize that shit.
Yeah, because you know, I want you
You
got to
do?
represent.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I know it.
Represent.
Well,
Took me a while to remember it was in there too.
Mixler.com/wicked-theory.
Yeah.
That's right. Got to remember
Yeah,
the dash.
yeah.
I used
mean,
to forget it all the time.
It was part of the entrance exam.
That's the new one and the current one.
Yeah, to qualify
Yes.
to be a host on the show.
Is that?
I didn't take that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe you did. I didn't take that shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a new thing. I
None of
guess.
us did that.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But we should have that.
Well, I took it in my mind.
I hear you. Every episode feels like a test to you.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, kind of?
Well, like my whole life.
Just in general, every day.
Question one is what's 100% of 4 American tacos?
4.
You don't say it.
So
That's
what's
a
100%
quiz.
of 5 American tacos? 4.
You don't even have to say it, Jay. If you had your own soundboard.
So what's 100% of 5 American tacos? So what's 100%?
Oh, that's my jam.
So what's
That's my
100%
mix.
of 5 American tacos? 4.
I really wish I had it on a scrub. A 4.
Give Wesley
Now
a
you got to
job.
come up with the studded version of that, and like that, use it as the white light version. You know, the interrogation version.
So what's 100% of 5 American tacos?
Hit the background music on that one.
That actually was perfect.
Yeah, kind of like somebody make a video. Someone make some fan music.
Yeah, auto-tune that.
Auto-tune that. that DJ Mixmaster Wesley, I'm thinking, is maybe the only person who would be interested in doing that project.
Jammy Jam. What else is going on, Bill?
I was on another podcast this week. I was like, I was snooping around.
You were cheating on this podcast?
Yeah, on the internets. I was on Geek Dig. That's our buddy Clint Thiel, who hangs out in the chat room once in a while. And we had a great time, nice leisurely conversation about all things.
Cool.
Random.
I got to listen to it.
A lot of nerd stuff. Took us a little bit to get to like actual like bona fide nerd talk. Because we were just kind of shooting the shit pretty loose.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's the thing about us. We like to shoot the shit a little bit before we get into all of that. You got to ease into that. We have shit going on in our lives.
There is pre-show.
Like people parking in my fucking driveway. That's what pisses me off. And then I come in and I talk about Star Wars.
Wait,
and everything's good.
Wait, today of all days?
Oh, yeah. I let loose on them.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go on and on about it. But
for anyone not in the Northeast, New York City got its first taste of snow.
Any shit out there.
A lot of people did. Texas is looking at it. Georgia's got some, I think, too. A bunch of states that don't normally get it. They get it like every 3 years, and now it's time to freak the fuck out. But then again, we do too up here. Everybody turns into a freaking moron up here.
Well, it's the milk bread eggs syndrome.
That's it.
The only thing they forget is the cinnamon for the French toast.
That's right.
I didn't get a space in your lot. I had to go behind the apartment building to find a parking space.
Whoa.
Yeah, because everybody is now in their spots, and they're leaving their cars there. So this way, they don't have to actually plow that part out.
Yeah.
And they just have to brush their car off.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. By the way, Bill, I mentioned this when I came in, but you could just sweep up your top steps.
No.
You going to take that? You gonna let this buck get away with it?
That's not us. That's the landlord.
Yeah.
You gotta
the
talk,
shovel was out there when
landlord.
you came in. You could have been a friend and been like, and dropped even more guilt on me by actually doing it and being like, oh, no, don't worry. I shoveled the stair for you.
I didn't say you had to do it.
You got some balls.
Yeah, there's a guy who comes eventually. We live in a building.
Oh, eventually.
Yeah, they don't come every 20 minutes. The guy who lives here, there's a guy who lives here who maybe should be kind of like keeping an eye on it, I guess, But then again, we actually had to call them and ask them to blow the leaves out of our staircase because we're in a basement apartment. So, that staircase gets filled with leaves. And it was like they came and did everything else. The other staircase is similar to it.
Well, they did everything else except the tree that causes all the leaves.
Yeah.
Underneath that, and our staircase.
Right. So,
Which catches all the leaves.
Is there like maintenance fees in your rent?
it's all factored in.
No,
it's all
factored
factored in, you know what I mean? But it's just
The government don't know he's here.
the government.
They don't know he's here.
Yeah. So, anyway, Geek Dig. Go check it out, folks. There's an episode with me on it, a recent one. But he was taping a lot of episodes this week, so I don't know if he's really stagnating them or just throwing them out as he records them. So I don't offhand remember which number I am.
So you don't know if he's on crystal meth and making them just like because he's not sleeping?
Probably. I mean, it's possible.
Or if he's, just hoarding them. Building up a supply and then having a release plan.
Yeah, I think that maybe something like that.
Did it drop?
Yeah, mine's out. Mine's out.
What kind of topics did you discuss?
We discussed some Star Wars theories. We discussed some Westworld Season 2 theorizing. Ooh. We talked about, I think, thermonuclear dynamics and, the relativity of Earth in proportion to other solar systems and stuff like that. We got really heavy science.
Sounds
Not
heavy.
so much fiction, but a lot of science.
By the way,
other stuff never happened.
I'm looking at geekdigpod.com right now, and it's episode 168.
He writes long descriptions, right?
Yeah, Wicked Star Wars Theory. No, it's pretty. Yeah, it's
what did we talk about? What's some other stuff I didn't mention?
Okay, Clint sits down finally with Bill Sweeney from the Wicked Theory podcast.
Hey, that's me.
Sorry, didn't see the exclamation point until the end.
Oh, sorry.
Once we realize it's finally happening, we talk enjoying our punishments, getting into our heads, road trips, what creeped us out as kids, our best past guests, binge watching, Westworld Season 2, Star Wars theories, Huey, Dewey, and Spewy, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., bad haircuts, Infinity Wars teaser, closings, and plugs, and much more.
Sounds like a pretty good one. I recommend
You
go
guys
check it
talked
out.
about a lot of shit, huh?
Covered a lot of ground. And then
Did you talk about us?
yeah, well, a little bit.
Did you name drop?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
You see,
I mean, I plugged the show, but it didn't really turn into a. Hey, let me tell you about that.
It's bullshit. You
Yeah,
talk about that?
or anybody's bullshit for that matter.
All right, I was just saying.
It was actually probably seems like now. In
I do.
In retrospect, it seems like I wanted to get away from you guys. I guess, and that's like.
I name drop.
Yeah,
I talk shit about everybody.
exactly. You do more than name drop. You shit
You
drop.
name names and then tell them fuck you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you all about that guy.
Your name's dropped like Murphy beds.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, hey.
Whoa, what are you fucking right?
Hey, I'm telling you.
That sounds like fucking
No,
some
if anyone out there
freestyle
doesn't
rap.
know what a Murphy bed is, please go ahead and look it up. We'll wait. Okay.
I bet you most people do.
So what about the?
You may not know what the name is, maybe.
Let's talk about the Wicked Theory Facebook group, Chiefy.
Okay, I'll do that. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
We're done.
It's a thing.
Hold on.
Does it have a name yet, or?
No, it's just a group to be named later, basically. It's a Facebook group. Go check it out. Take a look for it. Go to the Wicked Theory Facebook page at facebook.com/Wicked Theory. And then you'll see a link to it. It'll say visit group right on top of our top picture there.
How about we just name it the group that should not be?
I ran through my head.
Hey, man, there's a question of the week to cover.
There is. There is. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that
Don't
in a
rush. I
while.
said.
Yeah. But that's where we kind of post that stuff up. You know, I'll post it up on the page too, but I don't think most people get really the right notifications for pages. Maybe it seems a little bit better for groups. I don't know. Trying out the group thing. Trying to build a community. You know, trying to bring us all together.
Yeah.
You know, for the betterment of humanity
All right.
and society.
Well,
large.
at least a small handful of humans that are
yeah,
involved.
at least like 4 or 5 people.
Except Fred. Fuck Fred.
Except for there's like 7 people because it's including us. So you know, but yeah. So go check it out, kids. There's like 19 people supposedly in the group. We'll see how it goes. Post whatever you want, and if you don't like it, I'll take it down. But I doubt I'll ever take it much down. I found this piece.
Oh,
This is probably important to my.
Yeah, that's got to
my,
be a tightening one of these arms.
Yeah, one of these arms. This
That's
is a piece from one of the arms.
that sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
I have mine. How's the one there? You should have one there.
Right. Yes, there it is.
There you go. See, mine's almost coming off too. Look at that. It's just sitting there.
Maybe everybody should check their. Elbows.
Yeah, they seem to be getting really loose. Mine was almost off.
All right.
That's good.
This
I tightened my shit.
This technical moment brought to you by shitty armatures for microphones. All right, so let's just get all up in it. All right, we're done with that shit.
All right. We can.
Who's in the
edit this out
fucking
of the-
chat rooms? Anybody in there besides Wesley? No,
No.
Just chirping bird sounds.
no, just fucking bird sounds. I don't have bird sounds on here.
Well, Wesley types in the chat room, and all he gets back is an echo.
Yeah, that's basically-
any crickets?
No, the best I got is this.
No. It's
How about Gary Oldman in The Darkest Hour? You got that?
Yeah, I got some of that.
Would you stop interrupting me while I am interrupting you?
That's like bird sounds.
We shall never surrender.
It'll do. It'll have to do.
I'm sorry, but he looks like he should be asking Popeye if he can have a hamburger today.
Oh man.
They'll pay him back Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yeah. So okay, so that's that. So Wesley's in there. I guess we can give Wesley a game if he wants to play. We'll see how it
Sure.
goes.
He's got nothing else to do.
Well, I mean,
We have to
he's
give him
given us
something.
so many hearts. I don't want to distract him.
Well, it's maybe.
Let him break his finger.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get cramp in that one finger there. He can switch it up.
I mean, we could talk about what the chat game would have been.
Well, let's let him play with it if he wants to. But it was going to be because in the news we're going to get to this like in a second. But we're going to smash up some Quentin Tarantino and Star Trek rather, because that seems like a thing that's kind of happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so basically, Bob, get ready for the news jingle, and then we'll just say,
Tarantino or Trek.
yeah, there you go. QT beams up.
Examples include Quentin Trekatino,
There you go,
Mr. Pinkard,
Mr. Pinkard.
oh, Mr. Pinkard,
Right.
and Marcellus Waddle.
I don't know who put that in. I'm going to say Palmer.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, who's Waddle?
I have no idea.
Watto?
Yeah, maybe.
No,
it's
that's Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, who's Waddle?
Waddle.
I don't know. Bob, hit us with the news.
I was so into the conversation.
News o'clock. News o'clock.
Satan, 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 Satan. Satan, 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 Satan. Lick it, lick it, lick it, lick it, tunga-munga. Lick it, lick it.
Satan.
So yeah,
Devil's in the details.
came
I'm
out
sorry.
this week.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically,
came out this week that Quentin Tarantino.
he's got a Star Trek story in him.
Yeah, he's got a Star Trek story in him, and
Holy shit.
Cash, move on.
Stash.
Yeah,
Stash.
probably. It's
Move
Quentin
on.
Tarantino.
They pulled in a writer's room.
Yep.
Figured out a script idea. They hired a screenwriter, or they're about to.
It seems like it's going to the guy who wrote Revenant.
Yeah,
That's
and
the gist.
and it's going to be rated R.
Yeah, which turned out to be like he really wasn't gonna do it unless the studio was like willing to do that.
Yeah.
And they
So he
are.
was like, "Oh, okay," because it's Paramount, and they're lately like, "Yeah, we'll take anything." You know what I mean? We'll take a crazy project.
Well, they need to do something to really shake up Star Trek. I mean, the last thing with Abrams was good.
Right.
But they seem to have fallen off on that. So if they're looking to do something else, maybe the rated R route in a movie is the way to go.
Yeah. So basically, it kind of goes. I'm thinking like this, because I was telling Jay about this earlier. That more recently, there's this clip online from a Nerdist podcast interview with Quentin Tarantino, and in that, which was a while back.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
But it came to kind of like all of a sudden be popping up in my recommendations recently on YouTube because somebody kind of took this clip of it where Quentin's talking about, like, answering the question, does he have any Star Trek ideas? And he starts talking about the show. And it's a long clip. I won't, because it's like an 8-minute thing. And because it's Quentin, it's all over the place. Like, there's no one good, solid kind of clip to really pull out. But if you're into the story, I advise go check that out. Look that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like Quentin Tarantino Star Trek thing.
Yeah, the basic cliff notes were that he loves this new cast.
Yeah.
He loves the Chris Pine cast that Abrams put together, and he thinks that the '60s show is great, but it was limited by a '60s TV budget. And if you expanded some of those episodes to 90 minutes, you could have a lot of fun with them.
And that seems to be like his take, which I thought. Let's hold right there for a second, because I thought that alone was like where this, because that's his point too. It's like the movies should probably try to be going to the series shows and finding the great things to make movies out of it based on those instead of just trying to remake the other movies. Like let's do that stuff.
Like one thing that I was thinking going into watching Discovery this year, and they quickly decided to go ahead and go with on that show was Harcourt Fenton Mudd.
Yeah, like it's stuff like that.
Characters like that, because Harry Mudd, for his one or two instances he was on the original, I think it was only one episode. He made a huge mark.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He impacted a lot of people just by the quality of the character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
I mean, they did see that to a certain extent in Discovery and did bring him back, and I think they're going to keep bringing him back, which is cool. But characters like that, if you can look back on the history of the show, and you could expand on what's already there, I think you'll have everything you need. I mean, it's kind of like taking the Marvel formula and applying it to Star Trek.
So
Take what was good about what you start with, and then improve on that.
Yeah, and the other big thing that he mentioned is his favorite episode is Yesterday's Enterprise,
right?
Which is an episode of Next Gen, where they get it's an alternate timeline that pulls back where they visit the Enterprise C, and
it's you get to see a mirror.
Back.
Yeah. It's a mirror universe type thing, a little bit. But what's cool about it is that what's interesting at this point is that you don't really know for sure if that's exactly what this meeting turned into, but he does talk about that's a key episode that they should probably find a way to do. And I think what he's getting at in that clip is that the current ship, the Kirk crew kind of have that story happen to them. So you'd actually be taking a Next Generation series storyline and transposing it into the old kind of thing. And so since this is the new Kelvin universe, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do, mash it up any old way you want.
Yeah.
And play loose.
The other thing to say was, yes, that was a big, long conversation he had with Chris Hardwick and Myra a couple of years ago.
Right.
We have no idea if that's what he pitched to Abrams.
No way. Absolutely. And it's people kind of blown away by the whole kind of JJ and Abrams thing. But I guess JJ is still the kind of kid in charge of Star Trek as far as the studio is concerned. And I don't, you kind of wonder which way it came from. Did JJ get wind that QT is sitting on a story and they just finally had a bullshit session? And it's well, let's maybe see what the studio says if we can make something happen. Or was it vice versa? But like you said, who's to say they just didn't sit down with a group of writers and find some other new angle? But
he is Quentin Tarantino. He could definitely do this on his own and bring it to them, no problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not some nobody in Hollywood.
But then to score the rated R is what I think cements it.
I'm happier as a pig and fucking shit. You know what I mean?
I think that's what the original series kind of needed is a treatment like that, because when you have a guy like Kirk, who's basically a swashbuckling sailor type captain who beds every woman he meets, you know, it's kind of hard to do that in a '60s TV show. You know, and really portray that. You can do stuff like that in an R-rated movie where you can make him feel that much more flamboyant.
I feel, I mean, Bill especially knows, you know, my love of Tarantino, and you know, to me, you know, he does no wrong at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was there day one with Reservoir Dogs.
Sure.
Yeah,
And as I have grown to, you know Tarantino from his works and everything, you know, Star Trek has always been mentioned in his interviews. How he always used to go back. He mentions Star Trek, and at the end of the day, he is almost like a connoisseur of Star Trek. You know what I mean? He really is. So to get that kind of nerd love of the actual franchise, and to say that, you know, he wants to do it his way, I think we're in for one hell of a Star Trek movie like we've never fucking seen before. And I'm down for that. And he's right.
I think I could get into seeing Kirk discuss Royale with cheese with Spock.
Beam me up.
Or have Samuel L. Jackson in there say, "I'm tired of these motherfucking tribbles on this motherfucking Star Trek."
There you go.
I did start to daydream about like a Star Trek universe that always had like Quentin's stamp, or we start to get like the Quentin adaptions of things. And I imagined a Deep Space Nine, and instead of Avery Brooks, it's Samuel L. Jackson
Yelling there.
trying to be, but kind of doing what Avery Brooks did, which was like not trying to be crazy flamboyant all the time. All of a sudden now it's Jules. No, it's the same character, like, you know what I mean. But you got Samuel L. So there is some cursing, you know what I mean, and some weird fisheye side glances and shit, like, you know what I mean.
You trying to be funny, cadet? Because I ain't motherfucking laughing.
Oh, don't get this bitch out of my office.
Get this motherfucker off of my bridge, Odo.
But you know, it
What kind of
is.
fucking name is Odo?
You know, since Star Trek is supposed to be our future, 300 years in the future, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of, you know, our culture can transcend easily into this universe.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that it might give it
There's a lot
really
of
good
little back
edge.
doors they kind of left into this new Kelvin universe where it's like, you know, obviously we've heard more Beastie Boys than we probably should have.
Right,
But there's maybe some all of a sudden will it be? That's the thing. All right, so now here's the thing. Quentin may or may not direct it. Probably not. Like, let's just kind of lean towards that direct, because
You don't know,
but you
because-
don't know in the end, because this could morph.
He can get protective.
To insist on a rated R too is like,
He
all
can get
right.
protective.
Well, to me, like the R rating means he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the
Now-
very least,
now
he's
here-
poisoning himself to like say.
Okay, here's the thing.
But he's never really directed something that's like, you know, somebody else wrote.
Well,
Doesn't matter.
He's
yeah, I know.
well,
He's
also-
writer teaming on this in a way.
Here's the thing. He's got this Manson movie coming out. That's going to be his next project for sure. And that would be his 9th movie.
Right.
And he said he's only ever going to do 10.
That ain't gonna happen.
He's revised that slightly.
Yeah, I know that's bullshit.
Yeah, he used to stick to that, like, you know, kind of thing, and then he kind of realized, well, I should probably be a little loose with that, because I do have a couple of ideas.
Yeah,
still.
he could probably
And,
say,
you know, and I don't think he would all of a sudden. I don't know if this would open up, and in the same cowboy font, it would say Quentin Tarantino's 10th film, Star Trek. We go and motherfucker, like, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like,
But
you know
that
what
would
I
be cool.
mean? Oh my god, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah, but it's
A
also,
Quentin Tarantino film.
yeah. He's like Steven Soderbergh, who's been who's been doing his last movie for his past 6 movies.
You know, but the thing is, what I'm thinking about with Quentin is that, you know, he's like, yeah, I said 10, but I didn't think Paramount was going to let me do my own Star Trek movie.
Yeah, but that
right?
just changes the whole thing, okay? It just changes everything, okay, bro? Let me tell you.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking as a Star Trek purist,
Yeah. This is blasphemy.
no.
You're for it. I know you are.
I am for it. I'm for it.
yeah.
But it I'm not gonna lie. This is a little weird.
No, it ain't.
This is incredibly weird. Let me tell you why. Because the idea of Quentin just being like of getting that, sure, like him wanting to, or that kind of thing. Sure, he's a pop culture junkie like any of us. Maybe like, in some ways one of the more crazy deep end kinds. But like, you know, to ever think you were gonna get that Like this is just as equally up there with him doing a Star Wars movie or doing a superhero classic character movie. Like this is up there with that level where like it's almost kind of surreal in a way where it's like these two things you didn't think would ever kind of cross. And in that context, I mean I don't know if I'm putting words in your mouth, but that's kind of like where I'm coming from, where I feel like it's weird. It does have this angle of like. Let's pray this doesn't implode.
I get what you're saying.
I want to see this. It's surreal almost.
I get what you're saying. But to me, I think it's tangible. I can see it happening.
Yeah.
I think we're in a 5 years ago, 10 years ago, this would have fallen apart.
Probably,
where these studios are right now, where the market is, where people are.
Yeah, this is like that Darren Aronofsky Batman movie.
Tarantino can walk into Paramount and do this. That's what I'm saying. You know, you get somebody like that.
Yeah.
All right, they'll say. Because they're going to get a whole audience out
and
of it.
also, a lot of this is only happening because
Weinstein,
because
the implosion of Miramax.
Yeah, because Tarantino decided, I don't need Harvey Weinstein backing me to make a movie.
This is a great example of what a year 2017 has been. Where like as much as it's crazy, some impossible shit is laying. Seeds have been laying.
I mean,
this year in a lot of different ways, but this is one of them. Where it's like, wow. Quentin Tarantino on a Star Trek film.
Yeah, baby.
You know?
Wow.
Beam me up, honey.
All because Weinstein like OPP, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, I think it's really come down to, like, just people have conversations, and it comes down to, like, fuck it. Like, if he can kind of do this, get this made, and not be as crazy hands-on as maybe he is with some other things, because it's a bigger thing. Maybe he is kind of looking at it like that.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how much respect he has for the canon. And that doesn't mean this is going to be a bad film.
No,
it just means it's something that's going to be different.
Yeah. It's all going to be on the bridge.
Yeah.
It's all going to be one room, but it's the bridge.
Oh, so it's like an episode.
Yeah.
Like the Hateful Eight, right?
Yeah,
Intergalactic Hateful Eight.
Yeah, it's like one of those bottle episodes where they had to have the whole thing on the ship.
It's Deep Space 8. That's it. Deep Space.
Deep
Hate.
Also, speaking of throwbacks,
Deep Hate, something like that.
Deep Hate 8.
Yeah,
Wesley's gonna figure it out in the chat room for us.
Deep Hate 9.
Deep Hate 9.
Deep Hate 9.
Deep Hateful 9.
Evidently, someone was chatting with Patrick Stewart this week.
Sure.
And he's jonesing to get back in the captain's seat.
Hello.
Of course he is.
Of course he is, because he's done with sitting down in the wheelchair.
Get off my bridge.
Quentin. Yes.
Yes, he said basically it's always been his dream to work. One of his dreams is to work with Tarantino.
Oh, of course.
And he would love to play Jean-Luc Picard again.
Good.
Translate.
Suddenly.
Yes.
Suddenly.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sure it's probably his most well-known role.
It's an easy fix. You just write that in the script.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It's the whole reason for half of the BBC America's weekly show lineup.
I just want to hear him say Q. And then, like, Quentin walks in. And Quentin's dressed as Q with the big hat.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me tell you how it's going to go. Okay?
Yeah. Or maybe just engage.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
I need you to listen to some Brothers Johnson.
Yeah.
And maybe some Grassroots.
Well, also the thing is,
a lot of soundtrack music in a Star Trek film.
Well, also,
like, you thought it was weird to hear one Beastie Boys song in a Star Trek movie, right?
This is going to be so crazy.
Oh,
Because
my
it's
God.
supposed to be our universe, man.
Yeah, it's flowers on the wall, baby. Here
Exactly,
we go.
yeah.
Counting flowers on the wall. Computer, turn that up. Crank that shit.
now, see, like the fact that this story is coming from he tells a reporter he would like to do that. That's usually a sign that that's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's usually the kiss of death in a lot of these situations where it's like, they get pressed and they get asked. And it's like, of course I'd love to. And it's like, it definitely, of course, this is one of those extenuating circumstances of, would I ever come back to it? No. But maybe if something crazy happened. And it doesn't get crazier than this.
Although I would say Patrick Stewart in a Tarantino movie
In general.
would be bonkers.
In general.
That would be incredible.
I was going to call you out for extenuating,
Yeah, I know I kind of
but
smashed
we got a little far away from that.
It's fine. It's fair. It's fair game. It's wrong word. Not a real word. Wrong, motherfucker.
I was going to ask you to define it. It's extenuating. It's a difficult circumstance.
Yeah, I feel like
It's very strenuous.
Yeah, on the extremities.
It's extenuating.
On the extremities, it's that.
It's extraneous.
exactly what almost came out of my
Yeah.
mouth, actually. Extraneous.
Extraneous.
All right. So yeah, make it so. And then with that,
Yes, number one.
so that's actually where the opening line came from too. The USS
Yeah.
Bad Motherfucker. So Disney and Fox might mash up.
There it is.
Nothing official. I thought maybe by now. That's why I didn't really put a link in with that. I just kind of put the notation. But
I thought it was official.
it's well now them talking is official. Like when it first broke, like they must have had a first rounds of initial conversations, and when it got rumored out, they were like, no, that didn't happen, because they knew they were going to have the year end kind of like shareholders meeting or something like that, so they didn't want to. Something so tenuous and not likely just yet. They didn't want to have that taint anything.
Yeah, well, also,
but since then,
this popped up a couple of weeks ago,
Right.
and then they put the kibosh on it.
Yeah.
And now talks are coming back up.
right.
Disney's not the only people in the hunt.
Sure.
I think Verizon was also in talks, although they're saying because the AT&T Time Warner deal is having legal troubles that might.
Yeah, there is some issues with that, and some of the channels will get chopped up. Like Fox isn't selling off like a lot of the TV stuff. This is mostly the movie stuff.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't get Fox Sports or Fox News,
Right.
or the Fox broadcast network, but they
Right.
would get.
FX.
They would get the movie studio. They'd get FX and all of their regional sports channels.
Which means you get X-Men. Which
Yeah,
means
well,
you get
well-
Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alien.
And
Alien.
say goodbye to creativity, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
and-
Star Wars gets
if that happens.
and Star Wars gets Fox back.
Yeah, they get the original.
well-
supposedly they're still sitting at 20th Century Fox, right? The original cuts.
Yes.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
some reason,
The-
they don't have a hold of that.
They don't have the DVD distribution rights.
Okay, so that's why they haven't made no move to ever
Yeah,
really kind of put
the whole-
those
yeah.
out. They'd have to share them, and they don't want to share it. But that's carryover from Lucas, because that's
Yeah.
carryover from Lucas days.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I don't know.
So as good as this is, I think the fear, which is something I voiced just there, was that like, you wouldn't have gotten Deadpool the way Deadpool came out. You wouldn't have gotten probably like this take on New Mutants. You know what I mean? If
Logan.
you wouldn't have gotten these kinds of really cool outside the box fucking attempts at things if these
Also,
were at Marvel.
you would
and
not-
it would be part of the stacking order.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like
you would not have gotten Guardians. You would not have gotten Ant-Man.
yeah, the order would have been different. The priorities would have been different from the jump. But so it is a question of, will they stay under a Fox label? This way, Disney can have some separation from it and just kind of release them under the Fox House label in a way where it's like,
No.
are we gonna? Because I can't picture Marvel saying yes to Deadpool 3, which is still going to be rated R as fuck.
Well,
Yeah, no. My guess is what would happen is they would phase out the X-Men movies, and then eventually fold in and reboot the X-Men as part of the MCU.
No, I'm sure.
Oh
that's
yeah, we'll see
yeah,
characters
yeah.
in other stories before we see another X-Men movie.
Yeah, and,
that's
and
true.
Deadpool movies will still get made as long as they're profitable. Because that's the one thing about Disney.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks like, oh, well, it's the mouse, so it's got to be Disney.
It's got sanitized.
Well, also,
No.
most of Jerry Bruckheimer's movies were Disney.
it's fair. That's
that's
true.
that's why they have
Well,
Touchstone.
that's what I mean. Like Fox
Touchstone, right.
Well, Fox will become like a label to them, where they can have it be underneath that brand of filter, the filtered brand, kind of in a way, like Touchstone was. It could kind of like, yes, it's obviously the House of Mouse, but it's it's a Fox film. Like,
remember, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction were under the Miramax label. And Miramax was Buena Vista.
That's a good point.
Which is, so I would think that
It's a good
they will keep
Yeah, okay.
that Deadpool stuff, but maybe under something like Hollywood Pictures or
Yeah.
Touchstone, as you mentioned before, because those were Disney's
Yeah.
adult-oriented.
And I think too, it's
Studio.
And at the very least, maybe those movies have proven their own unique success in a way where
yeah.
they will continue on. Who knows if we'll get much more that leans that way, but at least those particular things will hopefully be able to carry on in that manner.
Yeah, and the one thing Disney's always good at is finding people who is letting people breathe. And they picked up Marvel and saw what it was doing right, and just let it move in the right direction. So, if that means we finally get Ridley Scott to stop making Prometheus movies,
Well,
and
he's
maybe,
gonna have
and
to.
maybe
That'll
getting
be a good thing.
and maybe
I
get,
He's going to have to pass away first.
yeah, and maybe finally getting Neil Blomkamp's Alien movie.
Well,
Through all this, I just can't help but thinking, are we going to get like movies like Three Men and a Little Deadpool.
That'll be the story of Deadpool 5, but it won't be the title.
Well, I'll tell you, that would be incredible.
With
Ryan Reynolds.
That's a Cable storyline where he runs around with the baby Hope for a long time, and Deadpool kind of, I think, because Cable basically had it as another pouch on him. It was that
That's right.
It was that constant. He had the kid on his back forever. Like, it was a thing. So I'm sure there's Deadpool story in there.
It
Where
was always over his left shoulder, hanging off his back. And like a purple, like a lavender pouch.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was like the heir to the Phoenix Force or something, if I remember correctly.
Might be good news though.
Yeah, I think it's.
It could be. It could also be like Bill was saying. It could like start putting a stranglehold on things.
It's potential. I think it's potential for greatness is the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hey, if they manage to just leave a lot of it be, and take what's not working, and work on it, and leave what's working alone.
Yeah. Does it really look like this is going to happen, though? I mean, they talked about it, but they've been talking about it for a while.
I don't know.
It's
they mentioned.
It feels like if it does go down, it's going to go down soon.
I mean, I know Rupert Murdoch does not want that aspect of Fox.
Yeah, so it doesn't interest him. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, like, the whole $60 billion or so price tag looks good to all of the shareholders right now.
I mean, I just don't know if it's good for that much IP to be in one place. I wish.
No, it's probably not.
Yeah, I wish.
No, but this is something. This is the culmination of something that started when Disney got their way with the whole copyright law issue.
And I think the thing too with Disney is, at the very least, as much as it's turning into a mega conglomerate right now, their method of operation lately and historically is to really try to put out good content and say what you want about where Star Wars is and it's going, or Marvel in the same way, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, but there's
they kind of like let those big things be themselves. If they can kind of continue that creative approach and handling.
And as long as they continue down that path, everything will be fine. But there's also good in a Disney Channel sense, and then there's good in a movie sense.
Are you saying there's a light side and a dark side to all this?
Well, yeah, but not.
See, but at least Disney's not afraid to go dark.
Yeah.
I mean, Rogue One proved that. I mean, Star Wars Rogue One, that was just edgy as shit.
Yeah, I think what's interesting
the ending of that movie was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think between that, Deadpool, and maybe whatever happens with like stuff like New Mutants that's coming, it will start to kind of show that you can do this. And Logan too, that you can kind of bring like something that has some weight and some darkness and some resonance, because the audience has grown up with this stuff now, and they're all looking. It's not just like the guys who are 40 and 50 or older who grew up reading comic books. It's also like, everybody younger than that who's grown up with some other form of it.
Right.
TV show, movies, cartoons, maybe not even reading comic books, but like,
even our parents have been around comic books. I mean, I got into comic books from our uncle.
Well, I just mean like, as
so
far
it goes,
as
generational.
but I mean, right, as a certain amount of like how familiar you are with the characters, and you're looking now because you're an adult.
Right.
Something a little more than, okay, you brought the comic books to life. That's cool. But can you make it mean something? Like, can you, like Logan? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's the difference between Logan.
That goes to them finally understanding that audiences don't want to be talked down to. I mean, this was forever and ever. This has been an issue with TV and movies. And finally, they're saying, okay, we've been screwing. They came around to comic books, movies, and they said, okay, we've been screwing this up whenever we've been given the opportunity.
Right.
So maybe what we need to do is just put the stuff out there. And then, lo and behold, it worked.
3 bells, Bob. That's it. But he's absolutely right.
I'm a smart guy.
See that? I'm not dumb like everybody says.
Did they say this New Mutants going to be R-rated?
I don't know if it's. I mean, I'll say maybe. I don't know for sure.
It's
but
they
they're
got
going
those,
for dark.
Yeah, they got that PG-13 horror lockdown. So they might go with that because it's going to be like a teen-focused movie.
Yeah, it's a good question actually. Should probably look that up, see if it's.
I would guess PG-13 simply because they're not going to want to portray the kids with their powers as being bloody and violent.
Right.
It hasn't been rated yet.
Not rated yet. Sure.
Thank you, Ed.
There you go.
That laptop of his, boy.
Boy,
putting in overtime. What we got next?
I don't know.
Come on,
Sassafras. So,
I mean the black top.
You know what's funny? On Twitter, I retweeted a tweet from William Shatner saying, "Is Tarantino looking for someone to do a nude scene?"
Oh, so he's up. So, or
which to me,
green chick.
You know,
Like, all right, now we have the Star
Uhura's
Trek.
boobs.
There you
Now
go.
we have the Star Trek generations. We should have had 20 years ago.
that's right. Just
Could you imagine 1994?
I just wonder where Harvey Keitel fits into all this. That's just one.
Shit, could you
He's an
imagine?
admiral, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like a really fucked up bad admiral, right?
No, what's his name died, so they got to replace Chekhov.
He should be the president of the Federation.
That's it. He's top dog.
So basically, going back to rumors.
Yeah, let's rumor it up a little bit more.
So this
I don't
week,
like Fleetwood Mac.
so this week,
Yeah.
Jon Hamm
Jon Hamm.
has expressed interest in Batman.
Ham.
Better choice than Gyllenhaal for me.
Yeah. It's better for me too. I feel like he's. If anybody's kind of take up after Affleck, he seems like right in that wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
There was a brief rumor of him for Superman years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that would have been a good fit, kind of too.
Yeah, I think so too.
He looks more like Kingdom Come Superman.
Could he be a little too old?
Well, that's what they're going for Batman.
Superman. For Superman, I feel like
Yeah.
he's a little too old. For the Batman that they're doing, I feel like he's right in there. He's actually typically less gray than Ben these days.
He was about
if
45. I
If
think.
I'm to be believing what I perceive to be their natural hair, but yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's-
it's
Well, they don't want
ballpark.
They don't want to give this to Cable / Thanos.
Josh
Brolin?
Brolin.
Brolin.
He's 46.
Oh,
Okay, so and Ben Affleck's like what? Fucking 107.
He's by my
He's
age.
like 50. He's like 50.
What is
no,
that?
he's my age. He's about a year older than me, maybe.
That's not a number though.
45.
Thank you. Not everybody knows your age.
I'm
He's-
44.
no, He's
All right.
he's 40. He's 40. No, Affleck is 45.
Okay,
I just said that.
it was weird. Ed had trouble spitting that out. I believe he was reading it.
He sees it. He has
I don't
to
know
say
what
it.
does
No,
Ed
but
think.
he couldn't get it out. Is my point.
What does Ed think about Jon Hamm as Batman?
Yeah. What do you think?
That would work. That would work.
Okay.
It was much better than the list that
It was floating, right?
well, like Nerdist did a short list of like these are who you should cast, and like Ruth Negga was at the top. I don't-
Nice.
Nice. That's how off the list was. I got you. I see your bit. But yeah, I think it's
Billy D. Williams.
just all the anybody who played Jason Voorhees. It's just all the crazy stuff.
Kane Hodder.
There you go.
Michelle Pfeiffer was on that list too,
Sure. Well,
and Chiwetel Ejiofor, which
think,
maybe.
And Amber Valletta.
Um,
So,
I think
Black Mirror's coming back.
Black Mirror. I was, right before I said Mario
season 4,
Cantone.
right?
Steve by Valley.
All right.
Black Mirror's coming back December 29th.
Hey. So that's our Mario Cantone moment. So. Oh my God! Filmed on location in New Jersey. Just saying. Just saying. So anyway, yeah, Black Mirror's coming back. It's actually a
caucus.
surprise. It's coming at the end of the month. They released the date at the last minute, the 29th. If you've been looking forward to some Black Mirror, there's actually I think like a preview because there's only 6 episodes in a season.
Right.
And I think there's a
Mario Cantone's going to be on Black Mirror.
Oh my God! Imagine. give it time. Give it time. That'd probably happen.
Technology, science fiction.
You can't because I just picture him as.
I just picture him doing his crappy Godfather thing that he used to do on the show.
fact that he used to run around on that show
With a
and do movie
blanket.
references for
like
kids
yeah.
that could never possibly have seen those movies.
Like Goodfellas
They're
and
like
shit.
5.
And it predated Goodfellas, so it was Godfather or it was
Yeah.
like Gone with the Wind. It's like Citizen Kane. Oh, like whatever you crazy bastard. Steam Pipe Alley.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Oh my God.
my
Okay,
God.
okay. We're getting distracted, so we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it in the after show. All right. Promise, because we have nothing for the after show.
That's some good wild turkey.
You drinking booze?
Yeah.
Did you just finish off the bottle?
No, I finished
haven't
off
had
the
any
bottle.
cough medicine,
There was
right?
like an inch left.
Oh, okay. That's what she said. All right. So anyway, Black Mirror's coming back. There's a preview for just about every episode, I think. And it looks like there's going to be like a Star Trek kind of parody episode type thing.
Oh, yeah, I
with
saw that.
Jesse Plemons as the captain.
That's Star Trek. I like Star Trek, Bill.
Mario, can't do it. I
December
can't.
29th. Just be there.
Shit,
Oh,
I
you're
can't
making
do
me miss Rooker.
it. Yeah, really. At this point.
Shut up, boy. Steve by Valley, suck down. Okay.
So
He's more incoherent.
let's talk about Star Wars.
Yes,
Jailbreak character.
yes. So remember when Ryan Johnson said he had a new trilogy for us, and everybody said it was going to be in a new universe?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
It's
far
going
away.
to be in the same damn universe. They're just not using any of the
Characters we
main
know.
characters we know.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. All right. So we're good. So it's a Star Wars movie.
It's basically what I told everybody on this show years ago. So what's the point of this? You listen to me when it comes to Star Wars anyway.
According to him, you listen to him.
Yes.
Okay.
And anything, really. And we got one last thing.
Yeah, everybody's got their own opinion here. Just
Yeah,
to
all right.
clarify
That's
for,
fine.
For
but
legals. For
everybody else
legals.
is wrong. Remember that. I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
Gotcha.
Okay? And Kurt Russell's playing Santa Claus.
There you go. That's the news. Just what you always wanted, kids. Kurt Russell.
No, not Kurt Russell.
And Santa Claus.
That's Santa Claus.
Oh, jingle all the way.
Is that a Netflix production?
The best part about Mario Cantone is it's a
love Goodfellas.
horrible Mario Cantone
Why can't he be
impression.
Batman?
I love Goodfellas.
Mario Cantone.
He's playing. He's,
I was actually thinking Kurt Russell. But yeah, you know, Mario
fuck it.
Cantone. Why can't Mario Cantone be Batman?
No, guys.
He's got to do talk like this.
I'm Batman. Okay.
so in an untitled Netflix holiday movie
Here we go.
directed by Clay Cadis,
Okay.
who's last directed the Angry Birds movie.
Oh, well, there you go. But at least it's on Netflix, so maybe it'll be something.
With Chris Columbus producing, I believe.
Yes.
So those are good signs,
I
actually.
think it's on Netflix because the last thing he directed was the Angry Birds movie.
Yeah.
But at least it's Kurt Russell. It's Christopher Columbus.
We'll have a real beard.
Yeah, there'll probably be some real hair involved.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that he can definitely grow a mustache after
Yeah,
watching the
it's, not
Hateful
some,
Eight.
it's not some Tim Allen glue job
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is. I don't know. This was fun until I found out John Carpenter was not directing. Because if John Carpenter was directing Kurt
Then,
Russell
yeah.
and Santa Claus,
Then you would be good. Then we'd be
You're aiming for
different thing. You're aiming for Jay.
yeah, you're aiming for my territory.
That's not your usual demo.
And I love you for it, believe me.
Yeah.
Give me
But,
more.
but that's not what we
yeah,
got.
I
What is
always
this, pitch first pitch?
like that would have been a great Big Trouble in Little China sequel.
Yeah, except he's playing
If-
Santa Claus.
Yeah, yeah. If like he
Big
had,
Trouble North Pole.
Yeah, yeah. If like that's the whole thing. If that character has to become Santa to save Christmas.
All right, I'll be Santa. Oh, give me the sled.
Give me the sled and I got a big bag for you.
Oh, look at Rudolph. Don't drop that there. Who's going to clean that?
Oh, I love Santa.
Shut the fuck up.
This is stop it now.
I just want to be a dentist.
Just want you to know, Jay.
Don't encourage
Just
him.
want you to know, Jay. When I'm not on your side, it's really it's. If I'm
I'm sorry, William.
no, it's not a personal thing. I just let that be known for anybody. If I'm not feeling it, you know the bit's bad. Because on some level,
Okay, I'm sorry.
or it's just driving me crazy. I don't know. Oh,
Steve Pipe Alley.
yeah, steam pipe.
It is an annoying. It really was just terrible.
I can't imagine. It's got to be. Like, look, if I went back and watched
Even-
it now, it was kind of like too hard to hit. It was too manic, even when I was a kid. And I had AD fucking D, man, and like in 3D. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And Mario had that shit like into adulthood, where it was like that manic fucking gay boy
Yeah.
energy shit. And it's like, all right, let's just have this crazy person in a room full of kids.
Like you
All
thought
right.
maybe he was doing lines or something
Yo,
right before.
like, I'm telling you. Now, if you told me that, I'd be like, yes, obviously, makes sense.
It was
Like,
obviously produced and directed by a couple of guys who were only about 6 months away from getting their pension.
well, I remember hearing
so-
him like the first time, like, because I was obsessed with Opie Anthony. I've said that before, but like back when he was like first on there, and because they were from the city, from the New York area, so they were busting his balls about like, getting some stories out of him. I remember him saying stuff like, "Oh, we got away with a lot of
Right,
shit that
right.
like probably shouldn't have fucking gotten away with." And I'm sure it was like fucking stuff like that, like offhanded references to movies, which were just offhanded references to drugs
Yeah,
and shit like that. In a room full of fucking 8-year-olds
Yeah.
who are just like running around. And like, okay, here's a Daffy Duck cartoon. Blah.
Yeah, and then he starts
commercial.
doing Goodfellas.
Yeah, but he was so manic. I can just imagine the way that this thing was shot, that they would tell the parents, "Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of it in editing."
Yeah. Well, don't
got-
worry. Right.
He's so hyperactive. We got 1,000,001 things we're going to use. Don't worry, we're not going to use any of that stuff.
I think if I remember correctly, like there were no parents around, and it might have been why. They would never
Well, because
get
it was
shut
Sunday morning and they were still sleeping.
Yeah.
It was
They were like
Sunday.
our parents
Saturday,
anyway.
Saturday.
It was Sunday morning, I think.
Saturday.
Well, it was
Channel 9.
it was a syndicated show. I'm looking at a YouTube clip on it right now, taped off Channel 9 WOR.
That's right. Love
Yes.
Yes.
And it's funny his VCR tracking.
Oh sure. Oh sure. Like
This
certain
is,
era of
yeah,
stuff.
this is a clip someone pulled off of VHS.
Someone was such a big fan of the show. It's like,
But,
I gotta tape this.
Oh my God, he's what is this? He's on steroids.
You're just looking at it.
I think.
All right,
I think he
so
made crystal
let's move
meth
on.
and
Let's
then
move on.
kept
We'll
it
come
to
back
himself
to it.
for a few years.
We'll come back to Mario in the after show because obviously we need to have an audio clip or two played for that
Okay.
shit. So let's
Yeah.
let's jump into meanwhile. Meanwhile, speaking of insane people, I started watching Tick on
It's good, right?
on Prime. I'm like episode 4 or 5, and it's good. It's good, and it's not as absurd. It's still crazy. It's still doing like shit about a crazy dude, but it's not as absurd as the sitcom was on Fox or the or the cartoon was, or even the comic where like it was about being absurd and like really you kind of had to know comic stuff to kind of get some of the references and shit like that. This is much more streamlined and grounded, but Tick is still himself absurd. Like, you know what I mean? But they are kind of like, every now and then, even if they dodge the question, they are literally posing the questions about things. Like, so where did you come from? And he's like, exactly, where did I come from? And then, like, changes the subject. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and it's very
yeah.
literal. So it's almost fourth wall-y like that a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with it. You been watching it? Or you
Oh
watching
no,
it?
I saw the whole season.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and it's just like incredible. The whole psychological drama of like, first off, the first couple of episodes, it's like, is this real?
Yes. Is this in his head? Is this in
his
Arthur's head?
Yeah, like what's going on? And then you realize like, oh no, oh this is real?
Yes. And even Arthur has that literal moment where he's like, oh, okay. Oh, other people do see him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because this was only making sense if I was insane.
Yeah.
And now that I'm not insane, it
Where
still
the hell
makes-
did you come from?
Right. We need reasons and explanations here for you freak. And,
Yeah, another great Ram season that is played by Michael Cerveris, who played Professor Pig on Gotham this season.
Okay. And then also Joel, Haley.
Oh, from Fringe.
No.
Haley Joel Osment?
No. I'm getting it mixed up. Joel, no, the guy from Bad News Bears.
I see dead people. Oh yeah. Mike, what's his name?
No, it's Joel.
I see dead people.
He was in Preacher. He was Preacher season
Jackie
1.
Earle Haley.
Jackie Earle Haley. There you go, folks.
Rorschach.
Cousin of Haley Joel Osment, and that's why I couldn't get the other.
They're
name
the same
out of my head.
person.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole diet regimen. But I thought somebody fucking walked in, but it's just.
And it's us.
It's just us. That's scary as fuck. Speaking of weird and going crazy. But yeah, so recommend it. If you haven't caught the Tick yet, but you got Amazon Prime or you got access to the show, check it out. It's worth it. 13 episodes, I think. I'm not sure 100%,
No, it's
but
like-
they're only half hours. Whatever it is, they're only half hours, so they're nice chunks. But it's worth it. It's worth it. I recommend it. That's my recommendation for the week. I got nothing else.
Yeah, no, there's only 6 up now. And then there's more coming in February.
Bob's been watching Future Man, which was my
Yeah.
recommendation, I think, last week and the week before, maybe.
Yeah. So,
I
yeah.
gotta go pee. You guys are in charge.
All right, okay. So on Bill's recommendation, I started checking it out because he kept talking about it, and it sounded like my kind of thing because it's a little bit of it knows what it is. It knows it's low budget, low rent, and it knows it's biting ideas off of everything it's come before, so it doesn't hide it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a sci-fi thing, but it doesn't hide the fact that it's taking ideas from Terminator and all these other shows.
Oh, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? It's low budget, so this is not something like if this was done on a network level, this would be a serious show. They wouldn't be doing it this way.
kind of like Ready Player One.
I've
Yeah, 'cause-
never
Yeah,
seen
because
that.
it seems to have that kind of feel to it. But
It's kind of almost got a bit of a B movie feel, but a smart B movie, one that knows what it is and does everything right.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a half-hour show. It's meant to be it's meant to be more of a comedy, but one that you can kind of take seriously at times because it's got some serious elements. It's not all joke after joke after joke.
Yeah.
You know. So, but I've only seen 3 episodes so far.
Right.
Bill just finished the whole thing. My rule of thumb generally is 3 episodes, and then come up with an opinion. So I'm going to check it out, but I'm not going to go crazy looking for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, Ed Begley Jr.'s in that. How's he?
Yeah, he's actually kind of funny because you know they play the family in there is the Futtermans, and the kid, his character in the video games is Future Man. Okay, that's a play on his name, because if you just like change one or 2 letters in his name, you get
Futterman.
Future Man.
So
Right.
it's his on-screen handle.
Right.
So it's right. So, Ed Begley Jr. is just having fun.
He's always good.
Yeah.
But he
He's always
plays
reliable.
like the super soft, kind of nice dad who's like,
Oh, he's
you know,
he's definitely was a hippie in the '60s.
yeah.
Him and his wife, they were definitely a pair of hippies.
Was she from Taxi? Is that the lady from Taxi?
No, that's that you're thinking Carol Kane. No, I don't
It's
remember.
Glenn Headley.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. She's fun. Guy, one of the main characters is actually what was his name on Preacher again, Bill? Don. He was Donnie on Preacher, the first season of Preacher. The guy blows his makes himself deaf, so he can't get hit by the word. Okay, he was actually a standout character in that show. He's a standout on this show.
Derek Wilson.
That's it, Derek Wilson.
Oh, he's one of those guys who's been in everything twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't know his name, but the second he shows up in something, you're like, oh, we're gonna be okay.
And this is what happened to me with this
Yeah,
show.
right.
I
right.
even forgot to mention him.
He's one of those guys. If you see him, you know it's a decent production.
Yeah, well,
You know you're gonna have a decent time watching this.
at least
you
they
know
were
what I mean?
smart enough to cast that guy.
You know what I mean?
Well, he
Right.
kind of steals it.
Yeah, he does kind of steal it because he plays his character to the hilt. It's just a little bit over the top, not so much that you get tired of it.
It's a balance, but they play him right.
Yeah, and they write him right, and he plays it right. And the kid is from what again?
So it's Josh Hutcherson. He's from Hunger Games.
Okay,
And he's done a
right,
couple
right.
other things.
Yeah, I recognized him right away.
Yeah.
And he plays this pretty good too.
Yeah, he's like the straight man,
Yeah.
the whole thing, really.
Kinda.
And trying to
Yeah.
be, you know, one of
I
those
mean,
kinds of characters.
It's actually a very smart show. You know what I mean? It's apparent at times that it's a low budget show, but it's well done.
Yeah, they pull it off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. There's no real flaws in the show. Nothing glaring. It's a very solid. I wouldn't say it's 5-star all around. More, I'd say 4-star all around.
Yeah, exactly. I think
You know
that's
what I
fair.
mean? You know.
The sci-fi, the time travel stuff holds up, and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, I
having
don't know
fun
if you
with
heard
it.
because you stepped away, but I was telling them it's a show that I'll definitely keep watching. I'm just not going to go out of my way to keep watching, you know. But like when I have a lull, it's like, oh, I'll go check that out. Sure, you know what I mean?
Bang out 2 episodes.
Yeah. So
All right, cool, very cool. So who wants to go next, kids?
Well, that Future Man is produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg,
Right.
and I saw a movie that had Seth Rogen in it this week.
This is what are we doing? Segues now?
Sure, why not?
Fuck. All right, go for it.
I'm that kind of guy, Bill.
he's done 2 shows now. He's becoming a pro.
Segue, boy.
I saw the
Get to it.
I saw the Disaster Artist,
Tell me all about it.
directed and starring James Franco as Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, baby.
Tommy Wiseau.
About the making of The Room.
Sure.
It's
I've heard of this.
yeah,
Did
it's,
not
ki-
hit her.
it's kind of weird. James Franco and Dave Franco are brothers, but they don't play brothers in this movie.
Yeah, and they look when they're side by side. It's like, oof, you guys look too much alike.
But you know, it's what's really weird is that this film feels like the drama that Wiseau actually wanted The Room to be.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, it's probably built to
Yeah.
have the pathos that he didn't know how to construct.
Yeah,
You know?
because there are some serious moments, and you know, it's not like nonstop laughs. It's
Right.
not. It's not like a jokes per minute comedy.
Okay.
You know, and you know, because it's played straight, and the fact that you know Franco's character is just so weird and mysterious, it has this kind of mold over it. I was expecting a very different type of movie, and I think this movie's been getting a lot of hype because of the legend around the room.
Yes, it's built up its own steam.
Yeah. And I'm not quite sure if this lives up to it, but it is worth a watch. So this is a light cash for me. But yeah, no, if you're a fan of The Room, which I'm not as much, I'm experienced it. I'm not that, oh, this is so bad, this is horrible. To me, a lot of that stuff is just, oh no, this is bad. So, I'm not really the audience for this, but I can tell that people who are obsessed with The Room will just really dig this.
Yeah.
And Wiseau does make appearance. There is a tag at the end of the credits, so do stay for it. I was the only person in the theater that did, and I was happy that I did.
Oh, okay. That's good.
But yeah, there's Oscar buzz for Franco and for the screenwriters for this, which I'm not sure is quite warranted. But if you're gonna give any kind of comedic character, also I think based on the Oscars movies I've been seeing, it's kind of a weak year for Oscars. We'll see if that sneaks in.
It's a weak year according to Amposh, because they suck ass. There's a lot of good stuff that should be considered but won't.
Yeah.
You need to clarify that.
Did I get that in?
Fine.
Did I get that in?
Mm-hmm.
No? Yeah, not bad,
yeah.
Chief.
No, what I'm saying, the Oscar bait movies this year are very weak.
They can go scratch.
So.
All right, so that's a recommendation for.
Yeah, it's a light recommendation.
It's a light recommendation. It's on the lighter side of recommendations. Jay's got a couple of DVD.
Yeah, I haven't been to the movies in a while.
Okay.
Been doing other things.
Yeah.
You know
Digging tunnels.
Wheeling, dealing.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Whatever story you want to make up.
Wheeling and dealing, bro.
I'm making deals.
That's right.
I'm selling. I gotta sell these cars.
I did get a chance to go into the thousands of Blu-rays I have, and I pulled 2 out.
Okay.
They're from the same company too, a company called Kino Lorber.
Yes.
That did the Adventures of Captain Marvel.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One is a special edition, one is not. The one that is not is a film called Last Embrace, and this was a early Jonathan Demme effort, as we all know who Jonathan Demme is.
Yeah. He made movies.
He's the guy that said, like thousands of times during his Oscar speech.
It's one of the other things.
There's like a counter. In his Oscar speech, he's like, and I want to thank Anthony Hopkins.
Like 70 It's worse than me.
He definitely. You can see his. You could see a master at work.
I got you.
In this early effort, because it is a thriller. It's an old-fashioned Hitchcockian thriller starring Roy fucking Scheider.
Roy.
You know what I mean? And I've never seen this film. This film's from '79, man.
Okay.
And he plays like a secret agent that's basically, getting, hunted to be killed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? As it goes forward, and then he uncovers this whole other big plot, and it's. Generally,
I can relate to that.
It's an old-fashioned kind of thriller. There's some early Christopher Walken in it. There's some Charles Napier, who's a Demi fucking, regular in his movies.
Gotcha.
So it was really, really good to see that. The second movie, now this is a huge stash for me because it's a really good Western. It's a movie called The Long Riders.
Right. Is this XXX rated?
No. This was a Western about the James Younger gang, Jesse James, and it's... all the brothers are playing brothers in the movie.
Right.
So this is David Carradine, Keith Carradine, and Robert Carradine playing the younger brothers.
Right.
Stacy Keach and James Keach playing Jesse and Frank James. And Nicholas Guest and Christopher Guest playing the Ford brothers. Robert Ford's the guy that shot Jesse James in the back.
Yeah, Casey Affleck.
The movie's directed by Walter Hill, so it's gritty and stylish as fuck. You know what I mean? And this was United Artists, and there's a lot of great extra material on this because at the same time they were making this, Heaven's Gate was being made, and everyone knows the big thing about United Artists and Heaven's Gate. So they were taking risks. You know what I mean? They were kind of scared at one point, but I'm glad that they did it because it's really violent. It's really good. It's very stylish. And I'd like to point out that a friend of mine actually produced a lot of the extras on on the second disc.
Okay.
My friend Heather Buckley, she used to write for Fangoria and everything.
Oh, okay.
She's like a producer of these little doc segments.
Yeah, you've mentioned her once or twice behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
So and she did a good job because Stacy and James Keacher interviewed on it, and there's a lot of great stories. And Walter Hill, man, I can listen to that man for hours because to me, his resume is just impeccable. You know what I mean? It's just in your face, stylish, gritty, fucking action.
That answers some questions.
Yeah, it defines
That
me
makes
for a little
that makes sense a little bit.
So if you like westerns and you want to see a really fucking good one,
Saddle up to the Long Riders.
saddle up to the Long Riders, man. A lot of great stunt work.
I'm sorry about the pun.
Huh?
I didn't mean to ruin your moment.
You
there
didn't ruin
with a-
shit
with a
because I
pun.
just plowed right over it.
Not really. Actually, I managed to get it out.
Cash.
And you used it. Cash. Well, all right. Let's cash it up. We'll cash it out.
Mario
Cash
Cantone can come back, Bill.
it. I'm sorry. All right. I wasn't picking on anybody.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I do.
Go through the Long Riders.
You have.
What's
We'd like a couple
Get back
Long
to the
Riders in the pipe, if you know what I mean.
the steam pipe.
You know what I mean?
You want a chat game?
What you do in your own time is your own business.
Is anybody else in the chat?
Yeah, we got Meow God's been hanging out.
Yay!
Or
Meow.
as he's now known as Meow Son, the Cuttable Kitty.
I see.
Meow-san. The Cuttable Kitty.
And
That's
Dom,
up.
Dom Torrey's in the chat.
Meow-san. The
So-
Cuttable Kitty.
Somebody's absent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hit that shit. Let's hit that chat room game, which was
QT beams up.
That's it. That's it, folks. Ed, we'll let you rattle them off.
The next Inglorious Generation.
Oh, that's not bad.
Hey.
Wharf Unchained.
That's nice.
Deep Space Grindhouse.
Nice.
Reservoir Spocks.
There you go.
Inglorious Shatner.
That's true.
Star Trek II, The Wrath of Candy.
Yeah, cool.
From Dusk Till Delta Vega.
Ah,
Ed likes that one.
you got him. Ed gives it a bell.
Kirk Fiction.
True.
Mr. White Crusher. And Dr. King Riker.
Ah,
That one's lost on me. All right, so there you go. There you go. All right.
More fun change.
Wharf Unchained. Let's take a look at a couple things, a couple of options we can go. real
Couple
quick.
two-tree things.
Couple two tree options. I'm percolating behind the scenes here.
We got any of the emails?
We got it. I'm checking. Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking into that a little bit, and I'm looking into this other thing.
We got another thing?
All right, we got a couple of
It's
those.
time for the percolator.
You know, if you're not quick, Mario's coming back.
Shut up! Don't put no pressure on me. I got enough pressure as it
I have
is.
to save some voice for tomorrow's read.
That's why Rooker's not coming out as much?
No, that's why. Yeah, I have to save my voice.
Yeah.
You know-
I'm drinking a lot of tea with honey.
All right, we'll go straight to email. All right, so decision's been made. We will push the
Keys up.
question of the week stuff, Star Wars stuff, to the after show,
Oh yeah.
and we're gonna go.
Get that?
We're gonna do that after show.
Okay.
Mario, Cantone, and Star Wars coming at you in the after show.
Hey,
folks.
that's fun to be with you.
So if you're not listening live, you don't get to hear the after show. That's a live only type thing on Mixler every Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
But they can pay $1 for that.
I'm getting it
Okay.
at Mixler.com, Wicked Dash Theory. But if you're a Patreon subscriber,
Breathe. You got asthma, bro?
You need me to jump in there, Bill?
but if you're a Patreon subscriber for $1 a month, you can get all kinds of free shit. Well, not really, but you can get the free after show episodes and check it out. I actually put one up this week. Wesley was very happy.
Cool.
So anyway, let's get into the email. We got one from, oh, nope, that's junk mail. Okay, let's go to Stephanie Muniz.
Oh, what's going on, baby doll?
You remember Stephanie? She is from the Gotham Knights podcast.
I know it well.
You know her well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
She
Well,
dates Deep Space fucking Palmer.
You know, whoa. Who told you that? A little Mogwai?
Yeah. Well, I don't know who that is, but you
I
know,
hear you. So she starts off, hey, yous guys.
I know of him.
It's Steph here, long time no email.
Oh, wow. Hey, Steph.
Semi.
I'm on the go, so I'll keep it short. Eggnog. Yay or nay? Take care, fellas. Your pal Steph. I love it. In, out, bing, bang, boom. Jay, eggnog. Yay or nay?
Yeah, all right. It's all right.
Better with real, what's got the
I put
hoochie.
vodka in it.
Yeah, it's got to have rum or something.
Yeah, it's good for a seasonal thing.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
glad it's not a year-round thing.
You know, I the thing is with eggnogs is that The thing is that, through the years, I never liked it. You know what I mean?
Eggnog.
And I didn't, and it only took me like maybe the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I could see
That
that.
I started having it. Like I had it straight, and I think that Turkey Hill makes the best eggnog. I mean, I know Jack Daniels does one, and it's a little sweet. Southern Comfort does it too.
Okay.
But Turkey Hill, and then I started getting creative.
My brother's.
But it is good.
My brother's ex, she's Puerto Rican, and I can't remember what it's. So I can't remember what it's called, but it's Spanish, and I don't think it's just coquito, right?
Yeah,
which is a seasonal thing. Also,
Absolutely.
it's very much like classic eggnog, which is another amazing, too delicious, will get you fucked up type beverage.
Yeah, that's what my block smells like at Christmas. In fucking North. That's what they go, coquito, and people running around.
Coquito. Not to be mixed up.
I'm sure people are handing it out to everybody because they're making it at home. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not to be mixed up and confused with cocaine.
I do. Well, there's that too around North as well. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Cocaine 'em.
My name is Bob. Okay. So anyway, eggnog for me. Yeah, sure. It's got to have rum in it though.
Yeah, you need a little something.
Yeah. But I'm also like a White Russian kind of guy, or like a Kahlua and milk, and I'm good kind of guy.
Like the dude?
Yeah.
The Caucasian, another Caucasian, Frankie.
That's it.
I'll be honest. I haven't had eggnog in years.
Right. So it's almost like you forget, kind of like what it tastes like.
I've never had it with booze, so I only ever know the
store brand that you pick up, and
and that was it was fine.
Well, we might have to change
It's
that.
actually pretty close to what it tastes like with alcohol in it, because it actually does almost have a bit of that alcohol
It's got a little something going
quality
on
to
there.
it.
There is
like I don't want to say acidic, but that sensation that you get
there is
from
a
alcohol
tang,
usually
kinda.
the only they recreated it in that.
Like what I would do is I would take like a little I would actually put a little Kahlua in.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? And put a little,
why not?
And then put a little rum, and then you just throw a little dash of cinnamon on top.
A little bit
I'm
of
sure right now,
cinnamon.
if you go to the liquor store too, they got it already
They
mixed
got the
up.
kit.
for you.
They got the kit
The
for
kit
you.
or mixed already in the
Yeah.
refrigerator, some, I'm sure.
Like Southern Comfort makes one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
I'm
It's
sure
all-
Southern Comfort makes a really good one.
And Jack Daniels.
Can we
too.
just get that now in a straw?
I mean, no,
Really? And we'll come back.
it's non-alcoholic. It's just that you have a carton of milk.
Yeah,
it looks
yeah,
like with a Jack Daniels label on it.
You know, it's official. You'll feel special, I guess. Pay an extra $3. All right, so we're going to move on to the next email, which is from a very familiar
Get
person.
some Turkey Hill stuff. Wesley.
Hey, you gentlemen, what movie is like comfort food for your brain? That's question number one. He's got a couple in here. What movie is like comfort food?
Showgirls.
That's like having tequila after a bad night with tequila. Like my brain just shudders at the thought.
Stuff Stephanie in the incinerator.
What is that, a movie?
Or Rabid Grannies.
All right, we've got an idea of what Jay likes.
The Toxic Avenger.
Faces of Death 4.
Faces of Death, yeah,
The
2.
one that they were really stretching to kind of find stuff. Stuff they wouldn't put in 1, 2, and 3. The stuff that was too fucked up.
I don't think I ever saw
Why do I
3.
get the impression that a lot of the movies on Jay's list involve grannies that take out their dentures to give blowjobs?
Yeah, gum jobs.
Everybody needs a
He
hobby.
didn't even flinch.
Oh, it has a name.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You just made Ed cry, Bob. Thank you.
We really have to get
Wait,
on the bed.
that we have to like actually start writing these things down that Eds don't know.
So what's funny is that I pulled the Patreon from this, the after show episode for the Patreon that I mentioned before. Actually has I forget what it was, but it was the further education of Edward O'Hare, and I forgot that we had titled it that. So we'll be getting back to this bit soon because I made a note to kind of build out from there. So not to over tease it, but we're gonna do something with Ed.
That's going to be like a 7-hour show.
Yeah, it might be just a special. It's gonna be a special.
A 2-night special.
A mini-series.
Well, that's what I mean. It's an ongoing series. It's the further education of Edward O'Hare.
See, none of
This
you
week's
guys.
Saturday,
lesson.
an all-weekend special. Saturday, Sunday
And it'll
nights.
be like this week's lesson, Like, you know what I mean?
Like, no,
And every time it'll be a different lesson.
no one noticed, but before the second Jay said Showgirls, I gave you a look.
Yeah, well,
Like,
Well, yeah, it was like that's like the look you usually give guys who like watch too much porn, though, Ed. That's
And I don't watch too much porn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's a well.
no. I do.
It was
No,
a
I'm
bit.
So to bring this all back around to Wesley and his questions.
Yeah, why is he asking us about porn?
He's not. Well, maybe he is. His question was, what is some comfort food like movies for your brain? And for some people, maybe it's porn. That's what makes me feel comfortable.
You want a real answer? I'll give you a real answer. There's 5 films actually, and 4 of them are Scorsese. The last one is The Empire Strikes Back.
A, I'm not surprised. A, I'm not surprised that there's 5 films. And B, I'm not surprised at Forrest Gump. Continue.
Mean Streets, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, and Taxi Driver, and the cherry on top is Empire Strikes Back.
There you go, kids. That's Jay. That's Jay in a nutshell.
When Jay's depressed, that is what he's doing on a
You can find
on an
many
all-day bender.
the many layers of Jay buried in that list.
No, I would,
Scorsese topped off by little Star Wars.
There you
The
go.
darkest Star Wars. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Why? Why not?
I would probably say comfort food. The first one that comes to my mind is The Sandlot,
Okay. All right.
which is probably the movie I quote most often. Just, you're killing me, Smalls.
Right.
Well, that reminds
I
me.
mean,
of-
outside of John Goodman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's-
The Sandlot reminds me when I was their age. You know, we had a ball field like that.
yeah, and I'm sure that's what Wesley's going for. Like, what's a movie that's a feel-good movie that you can go to like any time?
Mean
kind of a
Streets.
thing. That's what I mean. Yeah, for everybody, it's
I
different.
knew those guys.
Forrest Gump.
The Green Bambino.
See, because Jerry remembers playing in the Sandlot, but he played it on the mean streets. So
Yeah.
that Sandlot was very different. Like the obstacles to get around.
Yeah.
You know, jagged, rusty metal was in the base.
There were
That
guys
was
in-
the base.
There were
Like,
guys in sharkskin suits.
You know what I mean?
Shut the
You know?
fuck up, kids.
You know, you're hitting a line drive and it hits the hooker. You know what I mean? You're being a prostitute right in the fucking head. What are you doing? These little fucking shits are always in the neighborhood. I don't know what accent that town was. Okay.
There's a little Mario Cantone.
You know what's funny? Like a real good. I know I haven't watched in a while, and I probably should. And kind of maybe it was on my mind.
Steve Pipe Alley?
We're getting there.
Octopussy?
Akira. I think for comfort food movies, like a movie that I haven't watched in a while. Maybe that's why I'm not feeling good. But that for a long time was like a go-to. Like I could just throw that on. The original dub, the original 80s, 88?
Well, it was
89.
80.
I think it came out.
Yeah.
Someone correct me. Okay, so that would be my
88.
answer.
Akira,
And I know
really?
Bob. Yeah.
That's a deep film too.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that was definitely late 80s.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's deep, and it's like, all right. At that point, it's like every time I watched it, I understood it a little bit better, like because it's one of those things where it's like so much is lost in translation, so much story is condensed there, and then like also too, like when I finally bought like the first graphic novel for Akira and actually sat down and read that,
The epic-
it was like, oh yeah. Oof, did that movie fucking really shrink this fucking story down
Oh
to
yeah,
like
yeah,
nothing?
yeah.
But yeah, I can go to that. I'll just listen to that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Those fucking those kettle drums and shit.
It is a one actually, and this is a bold statement, but
Right.
I do believe that if there were 30 innovative science fiction films, that's one of them.
Let me tell you,
Because of the anime.
Well, that's what I
in
mean.
terms of anime.
The animation itself is like is captivating as fuck. And because I watched it a bit, like back when we were first starting getting high and doing drugs and shit, because it's got a couple of crazy scenes that like that would be the tape. Like people would be like, "Yo, bring Akira. We're gonna be at Jimmy's house. Just get fucked up all night. We'll watch Akira, or we're gonna do acid and shit." And I'm like, "All right," because I know half the time these motherfuckers never got to the end.
Right.
And when you get to the end stuff with the stadium, when it's the
yeah.
giant blob thing going
Yeah.
on, if you're fucking tripping out, like I don't know what that's gonna fucking do to you when you start watching that shit. Or the giant teddy bear with the milk bleeding from his
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
Oh, you got that scene?
Yeah.
What really drew me in with Akira, because there's a lot. It's almost like somebody took like some of the storyboards of The Thing,
Yeah.
and said, you know what, we can animate the fuck out of this kind of.
I mean, I don't know about that, but
Because the morphing and the.
oh yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
it's like the blob. Well, that thing is like the blob.
in a way, but there's like different things coming out of it.
Yeah, well,
and
that's what I
whatnot,
mean.
and
It's,
it goes-
like what the blob should
right.
be, because if the blob is this thing that's eating up everything,
Right.
and like throwing it back out at the same time, and just kind of like rolling and getting
it's
bigger
like-
on itself.
It's like that PlayStation game, Katamari Damacy.
You know what it reminds me of this episode of G.I. Joe, where there was a giant blob thing, and they needed to get it to the orchard in the end because there's a little bit of cyanide or arsenic inside apple seeds.
You know what I mean? Like it's like there was a lot of different things coming out of the blob.
Yeah,
There
sure,
was
sure.
morphing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
what the thing does.
Yeah.
Like all these different kind of things
Yeah.
keep morphing out of
It's
it.
a similar. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a blob thing.
That's
You
what
know
I'm
I mean?
saying. Somebody
Yeah.
must have said, we can just fucking storyboard the fuck out of this and keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm
break
sure it's straight.
animation.
I'm sure it's straight from the manga. You know what I mean? Because it's.
Yeah, I don't remember it being that.
I didn't read it back
Trippy.
then. I'm sure it's. I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's a thing that in like book 86 or whatever it is. Of
It was
these
mid-80s.
of these big thick books.
I should read that again. That was good.
Yeah,
Can you
I
go
only I wanted to keep going. I only have the book one. Is that spurring any conversation in there? Because I know. Meow-san was talking about anime.
Oh, he's also mentioned the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man trailer.
Yeah, that came out today.
Yeah.
Miles Morales. They did it.
And Enter the Spider-Verse.
Enter the Spider-Verse. And, it's definitely...
Was this for a cartoon or is this
Yeah,
another
this is
movie?
a-
or?
They're going to put it out full theater release, but it's animated. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
coming out
it's-
next Christmas.
And it's going to be like... it's one of those things that we were like, yeah, they're going to do that? They're gonna, and boom, here it is already.
Yeah, and it's not like we're just gonna do Miles Morales. It's like they're integrating the classic storyline of like he takes over for Peter Parker.
Yeah, it all seems like it's there. Like, what I
Yeah.
mean? Very much so. And it could be really good. So let's go back to Wesley's email. How about that shit? Hey, Jay,
Yeah.
what is up with your Twitter name? It's still at Man of Steel Books.
Yeah, I've been busy, and I'm going to leave it at that.
You copped that.
I have made a decision.
Okay.
And it was John Zombie John's Uncle Jay's thing. Uncle Jay's thing.
Uncle Jay's thing.
Because it has a couple of meanings.
There you go.
It's like
All
the
right.
Casa Nostra, our thing. It's Uncle
Sure.
Jay's thing.
There you go. Yeah. And it works. It's very straightforward. I like it. You going to switch that over at some point?
Yeah. Once I'm done doing this special project,
This top secret
Well, I
project
mean,
where all
Now that you
revealed
said
down
it,
the line?
now that you said it, you better do it quick before someone ninjas you.
Oh, it takes the
I
handle.
have backups.
Yeah, because it's true. Because I don't know if you test it out to see if the handle is even available.
Yeah,
it may
exactly.
not. It may not even be available.
I'm not worried about it.
There might be a runner-up kind of thing.
I got something on my plate that I want to get through first, and then I'll really give that
Yeah.
the attention.
Well, it all
needs.
makes sense down the line why we didn't.
Right.
Why Jay didn't really jump on it. Things change.
Well, I'll have an announcement. I'll make an announcement
Boy, will you,
of what it is.
kids! 2018. It's gonna be some kind of fucking year. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So he's got a question for Ed. Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Do you think you have a good start on the Oscar challenge this year? For those who don't remember, Ed made it a challenge to go see all of the, which nominations? Like all of them?
Yes, every nominated film.
Every nominated film besides, like, you didn't go see, like...
I saw 64 movies.
Okay, fair enough. I guess you did.
Yeah, remember, Bill, it was including short films. He went to the village.
That's true,
to see
that's
special
true.
theaters.
Short films,
Even I haven't done that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
doc-
Jesus Christ.
shorts, documentaries, foreign films, animated films,
Right.
some of which are harder to find than you think.
Yeah, it was a lot of... You were running into Manhattan a lot.
Yeah, well, in case anyone knows, I have a spreadsheet built up
In case...
that I create off of the rankings on awardcircuit.com, which has been pretty reliable. And of the predicted nominees, I've probably seen the only movies that are out right now that like might be in consideration. Well, I saw Disaster Artist this week. Are all stuff that's like in limited release that's gonna be going out soon. Stuff like Shape of Water, Darkest Hour, I, Tonya.
Tonya, I really want to see.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It might be, like, one of the few things I'm really kind of, like, looking forward to kind of going and seeing soon.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, this is different because I started keeping track of this in like April, of movies, and I've seen a couple movies that I thought were going to be contenders that turned out to be duds.
All right, so what's the? Are you about halfway through? You think a list? You think?
Well, I mean, of the stuff that's come out so far, I'm
Well,
probably like,
he wants to know how far along the list you are.
Yeah,
We know there's going to be
I
roughly
would-
60 or 70.
yeah, I would say I'm probably about, of the movies that have come out so far, I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through.
So 3/4 of the way through
Yeah.
of everything that's already come out. What does that mean in the total number of what
I
we're
mean,
roughly going to get?
because we're guessing. We don't know what the nominees are going to be until January, so I'm ballparking it. I'll tell you the number of movies I've seen this year. That might give you a better thing. I'll pull up that exact number. With today, I've seen 72 movies in theaters.
Okay, so this is a pretty good shot. You've seen most already.
Yeah.
I would probably have to. I'd probably be in that ballpark too, because I went like a bunch of times. Like every show, we were like going to see the same movie, right?
Yeah, and you know, some of those are more action movies that are not going to get nominations. Some of them are just.
I know it's blasphemy.
Yeah,
'cause Ampass sucks dick.
Well, no, some of them are really bad movies, like Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Or The Snowman and Suburbicon. Man, that one hurt. That one still hurts.
Yeah,
What
that's what it is.
snow?
No, that's Suburbicon.
Suburbicon.
Was not a good movie.
Oh well, hey, they can't all be gems, you know.
Now there's a few movies I'm looking forward to and whatnot, but as far as like Oscar shit, I've lost interest.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, if there's the one movie that's coming out yet that you know is probably going to get like a visual effects nod. Is this thing called Star Wars: The Last Jedi? That
Yeah,
comes
little
out.
thing,
Little thing.
that'll make like $2 billion.
Thing. Yeah,
Well,
something like that.
Well, as we head to wrap,
Before toys.
as we head towards wrapping up, I will point out, speaking of Star Wars, that if anybody who cares, that week we will be trying to pull off a special review episode that we'll probably record off Mixler on Friday, because I don't know what time we'll get together, and I don't want to make any promises. And it'll be spoilerish, so I don't really want to have people tune in and then get ruined.
Yeah.
So they can look for that on the week of that release. That's a little thing. That's a little thing.
Just a little thing. A little thing.
That's a little thing. So Wesley wraps up that email actually with as usual. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good night.
Good
And good
night.
luck.
Which is a very great way to wrap up the show, and to say to you listening at home or in the chat room, thank you for listening. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate that. We appreciate all that you do, even if it's just that. And if you do a little more, then we appreciate you a little bit more. One way to do that is subscribe on Patreon. Support us on Patreon. Hell, just subscribing to us on an app, on a device.
Throw us a buck, man.
You know, but if $1 a month gets you these after shows, and I hold on to them so long now that like you absolutely forgot it, even if you heard it. You know, even I did. I have to listen to them now in order to fucking write the descriptions, and it's like I have no idea what happened in 1:15. So yeah, that's how far back I am. I posted 1:16 the other day. But anyway. Let's give out to tell people where they can find us on Twitter if they want to. Jay, where can people find you?
Currently,
For now.
you want to tell them, Ed?
As of this episode.
Where am I at, Ed?
Oh, you're at Man of Steel Books.
Yeah. Like you were like a CIA Black Ops torturer.
Yeah.
Guy. What's the worst thing gonna make you do? What make you
dude.
say this thing?
Oh, I'm all for waterboarding.
Aquaman likes it.
Yeah, baby.
Ed, where can people find you?
You can find me at Edward O'Hare TBD.
That sounds groovy. Bob.
At Bob WTPC.
And you can find me at Wicked Theory. You can find the show at wickedtheory.com and wherever good podcasts are given away for free, like iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Player FM, TuneIn, all these kinds of places. If you aren't already subscribed to us, why not subscribe, rate, review, help us out. Jay, every time I kind of went into another thing, it looked like he was going to say something.
I was, but I'd rather keep it to
All right,
myself.
he's going to keep it to himself. He's going to be nice this time.
I'm going to try to be. I'm trying to
I have a
be
feeling you were going to bust somebody's balls.
I'm
maybe a little
trying.
bit.
I'm trying to like not curse in my Twitter
Feed,
my
yeah.
Twitter feeds, but it's not working
No? All right.
because I think people like it
So,
tangentially.
So, let's just say that's going to wrap it up for now. If you're listening live, you're going to get to hear the after show. If you're not, you got to kind of hang out with us over on Patreon for $1 a month. It ain't much. And you get all that shit that you miss. Because if you're like a guy who just listens on iTunes, you're never going to hear these.
That's right.
These after shows.
I'm going to make it tangentially.
A connection.
New Year's Eve movies article.
I like it.
Yeah.
Gonna ask Paul
Yeah.
will probably post that for
Yeah.
you on his blog if you want him to.
Well, no, it's fine.
We'll start up a whole new
I
blog.
will never be agented.
Agent Uncle.
I'll be uncled, but not agented.
All right. Well, maybe you should start a blog and be like, you have to be Uncle Palmer now when you come over and write on my
Uncle
thing.
Palmer. Hey, he could be Uncle Palmer.
He could be Uncle Palmer. Okay. That's the way we'll do it. All right. So with that, folks, thanks for listening. Bob's going to take us out of here. If you're listening live, stick around after the music.
Free bird.
The Wicked Theory podcast is heard live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever. Just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory. Mixler is MIXLR. Sign up to join the chat. Then click the follow button to get reminders whenever the show goes live. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free, and at wickedtheory.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/wickedtheory. There you can get the after show if you miss it live. God forbid. Plus other exclusive episodes. As always, send your emails to podcast@wickedtheory.com.